Hi, everyone. I am Dr. Nicola Ducharme, and I'm a Lyme literate doctor in San Diego, California. I've been treating chronic Lyme for almost 20 years now. I graduated from Bastyr University in Seattle with my doctorate of naturopathic medicine in 2003, and soon thereafter moved down to San Diego. And for my first year of practice, I was mostly working with kids on the autism spectrum. I was very fortunate, had a wonderful mentor who was training me in that work. And so I loved it. It was so rewarding, and just working with kids, it was just wonderful. But what happened is I started seeing some of the moms of these kids, and they would come and see me and they'd be like, oh my God, I'm exhausted. Everything hurts. I've got headaches. I can't sleep. What is going on? And they would, they'd say that they chalked it up to having young children or being the parent of a special needs child, which definitely requires a certain level of energy. But then they were like, but this is too much. This is ridiculous. So they'd come to see me. We would do like a functional workup, and I would look at, adrenal function and thyroid function and heavy metal toxicity and mold and all the things. But I also would include Lyme testing in my workup. And it was shocking to me how frequently it came back positive. And then I would treat these people for Lyme and they would start to improve. And of course, there was lots of other stuff that Lyme can create, like it can create thyroid issues and adrenal issues and some like secondary things, but the root cause seemed to be the chronic Lyme. And so I realized what a need there was for that and how few Lyme literate docs there were at that time. And I kind of pivoted and then started focusing more on that and really doing a deep dive and kind of getting to know it really well. So here we are, almost 20 years later, and that is predominantly what I see in my practice, probably 99% of what I see in my practice. And so there's a few things I've learned along the way that I want to share with you. So just a little bit more by way of introduction. So I'm the owner and medical director of Restore Medicine, which is, like I said, my integrative practice here in San Diego, California. I have written 4 books on the topic of Lyme disease: The Lyme Diet, The Beginner's Guide to Lyme Disease in Australia, and Lyme Brain. I have also been a chapter contributor to 2 of Connie Strasham's books, Insights into Lyme Disease, top Lyme docs share their healing strategies. She has 2 books, which I've been invited to participate in both of those. And I also wrote the chapter on Lyme and co-infections for an Australian naturopathic textbook. I've also created a couple of educational programs. So Lyme Ed for Patients is an online course that is super duper comprehensive, just everything one needs to know about Lyme disease, from proper testing through treatment, allopathic treatment, naturopathic treatment, detoxification, hormone balance, digestive health, all of it. It's all in that online program. And then I'm also involved in practitioner training because I see such a need to get other Lyme literate practitioners trained and out in the world helping people. So, like I said, Lyme is a bit of a weird sort of topic. There's some controversy around it. There's some sort of political division around it. It's not straightforward. And so what my purpose of this program, of this mini course, is to sort of expose some of the myths, talk about some of the down and dirty truths, the things that people aren't talking about, the things where there's so much misinformation. And I just really want to kind of get some of this information out there in a way that will be helpful and that people can utilize. So I'm talking about a range of different topics, everything from, if you've had a negative Lyme test in the past, it doesn't mean you don't have Lyme. Right? I've even had patients who've had a positive Lyme test and been told by their doctor that they don't have Lyme. It was a false positive. And they've gone on to be sick and miserable for another 10 years until they're like, hang on a minute, I'm going to revisit this. Okay? We're going to talk about why an infectious disease doc may actually be the worst kind of doctor for you to see. We're going to talk about like natural versus antibiotic therapy. Some people are so polarized that, one is the way to go and the other is, the work of the devil. So I'm going to address that and talk a little bit about, how you can merge the two to be like really an optimal combination. I'm going to talk about the wild ride of treatment, like why you get worse before you get better. Just that you get worse before better. And it frequently happens. And a lot of people don't know to expect that. And they don't know what's going on. And they freak out because they think, oh my gosh, what is happening here? So it's just an education thing. It's education and expectations of the process. And then I will also address the $1 million question: can we actually cure Lyme? And just talk about long-term prognosis and what that looks like. And so my goal is just to tell some truths in my experience, but some truths about these areas and things that I have learned along the way over my years in the world of chronic Lyme. So welcome. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.